Flower Files on this week's episode of our adventures. I'm Liza.
I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Amber.
And we have a special guest with us this week.
I'm Sammy.
Ooh, so excited. Sammy, in all transparency, is one of our very first guests that we are doing our podcast remotely with. So we are super excited that she not only understands our crazy, but agreed to be part of our crazy. And I'm going to ask her to tell us a little bit about herself and kind of fill us in on her and her background. But I can say from our point of view, why we asked her is, first of all, we just all love talking to her and listening to her talk. But she is definitely a kindred spirit in flowers and loving all things flowers. She was one of our brides last year. And then we hired her. So it was kind of like a job interview that she didn't know she had. So, Sammy, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and what do you do?
So my name's Sammy. I am originally from England, which will, I guess, eventually come through in the accent. I moved to the US in 2012 and I lived in Florida for the longest time. I ended up in Maryland because I met my husband down in Naples and he was on vacation.
Okay, so you have to tell everybody why you lived in Florida. Why did you live in Florida? What did you originally want to be?
Well, so I lived in Florida because my parents got a green card and I was still a dependent at that point. And I was finishing college and I had the choice of, do I want to stay in England or do I want to go to America? And I decided to give America a try. And I have now been through the citizenship process. I'm a citizen, have a passport, can do all the fun things. And I was originally working for my dad's business.
But before that, you've got to talk about your school. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a marine biologist. And I was talked out of it. I allowed myself to be talked out of it very foolishly by my school in the UK. Still love them. They were great. But the school I went to was very, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be all of the high-powered things. And they just didn't think I would make enough money as a marine biologist. And in fairness, they were probably right. I probably wouldn't have made as much money, but I would like to think that job satisfaction would have made up for that.
Yeah. There's been a couple times where we've done deliveries and she talks about turtles and coral reefs and she just lights up. So it's very, very, very cool to see that and to share that. And to know that, her path was a little bit different. And, it got here a little bit differently.
Absolutely. I was ready to do it all the way through school. And then it was like final minutes applying to universities. And in England, you have to specialize when you apply to university. You specialize right then and there. You can't, I guess you could change your major down the line, but it's not as simple as it is over here. And so all of the classes that you take are all geared towards what you're going to take in university. We kind of narrow down our field much sooner than you guys do over here. And so I had taken all the classes right until I was 18. I was applying for university, and I guess they kind of got wind as to what I was applying for, and I got sat down and they had a conversation with me about, is this really what you want to do?
So you end up in Florida.
Yep.
Talk to us about how you met your husband.
So we met, I don't know how much I should say. We met in online in a in a very hookup. I was divorced. I was, recently separated. I was going through it, and we met online, and I guess we hooked up. And he was like, "I'm gonna come back," and he was on vacation. He said, "I'm gonna come back and sweep you off your feet." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, but whatever."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you gotta go. And then a couple weeks later, he went back home. I was going on like a girls' trip. I'm like, newly single, let's go to Key West. We're gonna have the best time. I spent the whole time texting him, and then he came back home.
There's no man.
No, yeah. What are you talking about? I just Snapchat selfies. These are just for me. I'm not sending them to anyone. So he came back home. He's from Centerville, and Centerville, Maryland. And a couple weeks later, he worked for himself as kind of like a sub for people doing carpentry. And he said, "I'm gonna come back down and visit you for a couple of days." And I said, "Sounds great. Come on down." And so he came down for 3 days with just a little backpack. And then he extended his flight to 7 days. Like, cool, okay. And then the day he was meant to leave, he missed his flight. And then he never left. And we lived in Florida for 1.5 years. And then
he visited and never left.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, at that point, my house was kind of a zoo. I owned my house in Florida, and I had 2 roommates that I'd moved in because I was like, I don't know how to be alone because I'm newly divorced and don't know what that's like. So I had a girl roommate and a boy roommate, and it was kind of just party. I like relived my university years in my late 20s. So I kind of had it twice. And so I was like, what's one more person? Come on, like, give me all the strays. I'll take them. So he came down and he was there. He was, doing the same stuff. He's very handy. And then after like 1.5 years, he kind of came to me and he said, I put in so much work back in Maryland. All of my contacts, all of the people that I know. If I move down here, I'm starting from scratch. And it's somehow even harder in Florida because labor's so cheap down there. Especially with construction, with all of the Mexicans and Cubans and all of, the kind of illegal work that happens. And so he'd have to work for next to nothing for 5 years to get someone to vouch for him, to get his contractor's license and all of those good things. And so he said, you work remotely. What do you think about moving to Maryland? And I was kind of done with Florida. I loved it. I was there for 8 years. I loved it when I was there. I was at the beach every weekend. I had a great life, but I miss the seasons. I'm originally from England. I'm used to the seasons. And so I said, I've picked up my life and moved across the world once. Why don't we?
What's a couple states?
What's a couple states?
Not a whole ocean.
So that's what I did. And we've had a really long and interesting journey to get where we are. This summer we moved into a house that we built ourselves, which is massively rewarding and
incredibly stressful.
And it was a long road to get here because we built it ourselves. Paying customers come first, so this house wasn't always a priority. We lived with a bunch of people. We lived with his grandparents and we lived with friends, and it's been 3 years of moving. And it's really exciting to not have things in boxes anymore.
Yeah, you must be so tired of cardboard.
Yeah. I have about 50 million of those black and yellow totes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So last fall, you guys got married. And
we did.
it was stunning. It was amazing. It was beautiful, and we loved it. We still talk about it, but
Me too.
So tell me about, because when you got married here, you definitely, I don't want to say did it the American way, but you definitely, it was a very American style wedding. What are some of the differences that you see from England compared to here?
A couple of the big ones, rehearsal dinners are not a thing.
Oh,
And so I didn't have one.
gotcha.
I felt like it was a lot of stress. And it's not something that was ingrained in me growing up. You know, you do a walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, you do the rehearsal part of the rehearsal dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like, a lot of people didn't show up for my rehearsal anyway. So maybe it was because I didn't give them dinner. I don't know. But yeah, rehearsal dinners are not a thing. So when that was kind of brought to me, I just thought, you know, I'm already planning one big blowout party for 150 people. Why do I have to have another one the night before for
exactly that? Exactly that. That's a lot.
How many times are we going to feed these people? So, and I especially, I wanted to spend a lot of time with my family, because my family and the few people that I had come from overseas, I wanted to spend as much time with them as I could. And you know, at rehearsal dinner, you kind of have to be around everyone and kind of share that. And I just felt like I wanted to spend the time. I wanted to spend the time with the people that had really traveled to see me. Mm-hmm. Chris could spend the time with whoever he wanted, but for me, the wedding was amazing because I have 2 brothers and a sister. My sister lives in Dubai, my older brother lives in England, and my younger brother lives in Miami. And the last time that we were all together, we've obviously seen each other. Like, I've seen my older brother, I've seen my younger brother, I've seen my sister. But the last time that the 4 of us were together was something absurd, like 2010.
Wow.
So it was really cool for us to all be together, and I really wanted to spend that time with them. And I had some friends that came over, and so that was great. Another big difference, and one that I would have loved to have done, was in England you don't have like a big ceremony. So in England, generally, you'll have like, I don't know, so my wedding was like 150 people. Mm-hmm. So in England, that would generally be maybe 50 people at your ceremony, and 50 people for dinner. And then you invite night guests. And so they come after dinner. And they're there for kind of the party. And, you know, you usually do, dinner's usually pretty early, depending on what time you get ready. So at what time you get married. So you would only have to feed 50 people like a full sit down dinner. And then you'd have like burgers, you know, buffet style at like 10 o'clock. And also open bar is less of a thing. I wouldn't say it isn't a thing, but a lot of people in England, you pay for your drinks. So those are the big differences. And for me, I feel like as much as I loved having everyone at my ceremony, and you know, it was great, I wouldn't change a thing. There's a lot of people to walk in front of. For me, on grass in heels. And that was the longest aisle I've ever seen. So it was a lot of people to walk in front of, and it, you know, it racks up, especially when you have to feed them all.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
So yeah, and we also don't have all of the bridal showers and you know, all of the pre things. We have what we call a hen night, which is like a bachelorette.
I've seen that. I've heard that before. I've seen that, and then
A hen
night?
It's like
it's not bachelor and bachelorette. It's a stag do and a hen night.
Really?
Yeah.
How is it different? Is it the same concept? It's just
it's the same concept. They just call it different things. And I found over here, and I don't know whether it's just because I have been so involved in weddings in the last couple of years, but I found like in England it really is just a night.
Over here, it's like a week.
Well, yeah. Like my Chris's brother, like his was like a 4-day trip to Ocean City.
Yeah.
I mean, even I had a weekend in DC, but there was like 3 of us, and we did a spa and we went out, and like it was great. But in England, it very much is a night. You go out, you get massively wasted. There's probably someone going to take their clothes off, whether that be you or a paid person. It could go either way. But yeah, it's not a whole weekend. It's not a whole thing like
it's
it
not
is
another
over here.
excursion. It's
No.
It's not people flying all over the country for grand getaways.
Yeah.
No.
You mean you're not wearing like pink cowboy hats with like feathers all over it?
Unfortunately not. No. No. I mean, I had to wear a veil, and that was bad enough. I don't need to be singled out.
Not any worse. Not any worse.
Mm-mm.
So you said, as much as you've been involved in weddings, explain that comment a little bit, because I know you've been married once, but what else do you do with weddings?
So I got engaged. Let's start there. I got engaged in February. What are we? 23. February of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So like just after COVID was really bad. And I did the usual thing, you get engaged and you start planning. Mm-hmm. And we knew that we wanted to have kind of a longer engagement just because people were going to travel for me.
Right.
The people that mattered were going to travel for me, and I needed to give them the opportunity to either save, plan, make it their family vacation for that year, or any of those good things. So we got engaged in February of 2021 in the snow. It was beautiful. And I know, I'll send you pictures.
I want to see.
And so I went on the knot, because where do you start? You start on the knot, because that's where everyone does, or with Joy, or any of those template websites. And they give you like a timeline. These are the things that you should do. And I'm very type A. I am a solid planner. Yeah, solid planner. And so again, a lot of my bridesmaids were I say a lot of my bridesmaids were traveling. There's a whole story there too. A lot of my bridesmaids did not end up traveling. So but so I started to pick all the things, and the knot gives you a timeline of when you should be thinking about. 6 months out, you should book this. 12 months out, you should book this. And thank God I didn't follow their timelines. Let's just say that much. So in probably June of 2021, since then I had been reaching out to all of the vendors, not always looking to book, sometimes just looking to try and get an idea of what the budget was going to be for the wedding. This is what I want florals wise. How much is it going to be? This is what I want, blah, blah, blah. And I was reaching out to florists, and they were, I don't want to say almost laughing at me, but almost laughing at me, because they were like, we are booked, and this is over 12 months. I didn't get married until October of 2022. So this is over 12 months out from my wedding, and they were just like, nope. And I'm sure it was COVID. Yeah. COVID made things go crazy. And I think
a massively busy month for weddings.
Yeah. But I thought, because, June of 2021, I'm not getting married till October of 2022. Shouldn't that mean, people aren't booking then, right? So I started reaching out to a bunch of florists, and people wouldn't even give me a quote, because they said, well, we're booked. So then I started to panic. The planner and we went, oh my God, what are we going to do? because at this point we had booked our venue. And so that was the date. This is when it's happening. So I think I joined a bunch of wedding groups on Facebook, which honestly, I'm really having trouble removing myself from them because just the drama is addictive. And I think someone asked about florists in Maryland, and I think that's where I found you guys. And
I'm being honest.
Yeah,
it very well could have been. And so I'd reached out to one of the florists on the shore, and they were fine. They didn't blow me away. It was, I'd had that consultation call with them, and it was fine. And then I got your name, and I reached out to you, and we had the consultation. I was like, well, this is who we're going with. I had no idea what flowers I wanted. I knew that I loved flowers, and in my opinion, flowers and candles, that's what makes a wedding. And so I had picked my colors, and that was all that I had. I really didn't have a preference on, oh, I must have peonies, or oh, I must have whatever. So
which was awesome because it was more color based, which led us to have a lot of flexibility and freedom with colors and textures and okay, I like this color, but it comes in these hues. Yeah.
And honestly, the thing that sold it for us was we'd already booked you at this point, but coming out that October before, and just picking flowers, and just the fact that you were like, well, let's see what's in bloom during your wedding. So then we came out the October of 2021, me and my husband and my mother-in-law, and we picked flowers with Liza, and we just had the best time. And then I got to take a beautiful bouquet home, which was also amazing.
I think it's important for people to touch, feel, smell, like look at everything, live with it a little bit, and be like, I like this, I don't like this.
Yeah.
100%. We've had people actually come out, do a walkthrough, and slightly change some color hues even. Be like, I want this color, and then they walk out and they're like, but I love this flower. And it's like, okay. So I know you do some planning on the side. How did you end up connected with the planner? Like, what was that?
So it's kind of tied into my wedding. I wasn't very good at letting go. I don't want to say I was bridezilla, because that it wasn't that kind of not letting go, but I just felt
you knew what you wanted,
but not only that, like, this is going to sound so ridiculous. I didn't want to inconvenience anyone. So I paid
and apologize. And I was like, why are you apologizing? Call us.
I paid a day off. I'd obviously booked everyone, and I had made a lot of my decor. Like, I had everything. I packed my decor in table boxes. Like, this is table 1.
Yeah.
These are the name cards. These are the this. These are the that. Blah, blah. So, I had paid a wedding planner to be a day off coordinator for me, just because I didn't want to be worried about answering people's questions. As it turned out, if someone asked a question, I wouldn't let anyone answer anyway. So did I need a day of coordinator? Probably not. I spent most of my wedding day downstairs helping set up while my bridesmaids were upstairs drinking champagne. Because I couldn't.
Enjoyed that because you came down, you walked through, and I was like, okay, is she going to touch anything? Because if she touches it, it means it's not right. And luckily, we were okay.
That would be me.
Hey guys, Lizzie here. I bet you didn't know this about me, but I am gluten-free, and one of the things that I struggle with is going to the grocery store and finding the foods that fit my dietary needs. What I have been doing for the past couple of months is ordering from Hungry Root. Now, Hungry Root is an online company where you can order groceries off of their website. It's full of produce, crackers, cookies, to muffins, to meats, and all the different types of snacks and things like that. They have made my life so much easier in the process of finding foods that fit my dietary needs. There are filters that you can adjust, such as non-GMO, dairy-free, gluten-free, paleo, different preferences and things like that. So what they have done for us, because they're such a generous company, the Hungry Root team has given us a 40% off discount code on your first box. So if you use the code FLOWER40, and that's capital FLOWER 40 at checkout, you will get 40% off your first box. I'm so excited to team up with these guys. They've made such an impact on my life in the morning and to my day-to-day life, and I hope you experience the exact same thing that I do. All of the information will be linked down below, including the link to where it should already be pre-applied to your cart when you hit the link and go to their website, and I will also add the code at the bottom for easy access in our show notes. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and enjoy your first box through Hungry Root.
Yeah, no.
Candles.
I spent a lot of time coming downstairs. But that's how I ended up involved with a planner. So my wedding planner that day, we got on so well. Honestly, we would have planning calls and wouldn't even touch talking about the wedding. And on the wedding day, it was almost like the wedding day was getting in the way of us having girl time. So it was a couple of weekends after my wedding, and she has a usual helper, and her usual helper couldn't help, and she was like, I need another person, would you consider helping me out? And so I have been helping her for almost a year now.
That's awesome.
With the planning, and then obviously with you guys, I've been helping with the wedding setups, and it just kind of organically happened. It was just people that were connected to me from my wedding initially. We just clicked, and they needed help, and it was something that I could help with, and so that's what I ended up doing.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I often wonder what it's like for you to work with us and see things through the eyes of a planner. And then when you're in the planning mode, you see things through the eyes of the florist. Like, how does that work in your brain?
Well, I always choose to work with you anyway, because I'm like, Sammy knows what she's doing. Because, like, most of the time I'm like, okay, this is the plan. This is what we've got to do. Like, we set up that one wedding, and we were done, like, so fast. Like, lickety split, done. In, out, gone. We were like, see ya. You're in the game, and you understand the fast pace and the crazy and the constant, like, okay, what's next? Okay, what can we do? Okay, what's going on? And that planner that day was stressed. Like, she was running around setting up all the stuff, which is her job, which I understand, but you get that. Mm-hmm. So it was yeah. Love it. Love you.
I would 100% rather do the work with you than do the wedding planning stuff. Number one, it's just such a long day as a wedding planner. I will say I'm not a very people-y person. So generally, I like to be with someone who is the people-y person. And that in the wedding planning company that I work with, Taylor is the girl that I work with, and she is a very people-y person. She is probably a less creative person, but she handles the people, and that's fine, because then I don't have to deal with the people.
You can do the stuff.
I can do exactly. And so I end up doing a lot of the setup that isn't florals. Although I will say I am now a lot more critical of florists that I do see. Yeah, that I do see set up. I like watch them set up the tables, and then I wait for them to leave, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna tweak a little bit here, and then just tweak a little bit there, and you'll never know. It's fine. So, but yeah, the wedding planning is a lot of the little details. The last wedding I helped at, I spent an hour putting those little acrylic champagne. So it was like initials.
The glass thingies.
Yeah, they go on the edge of a champagne glass, and it was
Oh.
like 150 people wedding, and so I had to go around, and it was like the lip of the glass was just a little bit too thick, so they didn't just slide on. So you had to like pull them apart just a little bit, slide them down. And I broke like 3 of them, and then I only had 3 left. And I was like, this could have gone really badly. At the end. I was like, ooh, okay. So it's a lot of the minor details that I get left to do, which take a long time. They're pretty time consuming. But I might just say this because I do it, but I feel like they make all the difference.
They do.
Yeah.
They
You know,
100%
it's
do.
it's the little things. But for me, wedding planning, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. There's a lot of stuff to do before the wedding happens, but then once the ceremony happens and they all sit down to dinner, there really isn't a lot to do until everybody leaves.
Yeah.
And then when everyone leaves, it's like, okay, you have 35 minutes to hurry up and get that stuff put away because you have to be out of here.
Yeah.
Or you're charged X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane. So I know one of your side gigs, because you don't have enough to do, is you design and I don't know, is it like design and implement, design and
create,
and
design
create
and
and
make from
provide?
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do neons.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick your brain about that. Like, how did you get into that? How did you go from I want to save turtles to let's do neons?
I wanted a neon sign for my wedding.
Okay.
I wanted a neon sign for my wedding. We always had the vision of we wanted to do like a photo booth wall, which we ended up doing. My husband built, and it was beautiful. And I wanted a neon sign on it. And we wanted to do, a lot of people just do their names. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to do our wedding hashtag, which my last name is Mooney, or my new last name is Mooney. So it was to the Mooney and back, which when compared with just a last name is a lot of characters. And it ended up on multiple lines. And so I went to the various neon design places that you can go to. And I was quoted between $800 and $1,000 every time.
Shoo.
And yeah, and I was like, I want a neon sign. I do not want a neon sign that badly. So through businesses that I've done with my dad in the past, we had some contacts in China. A very long story short, we made iPad cases for a while.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Different life, different era, different story. But it meant that I had some contacts in China, and I ended up reaching out to one of them and just being like, hey, I want a neon sign for my wedding. How can I get this done? Who would you recommend that I use? And I don't want to break the bank.
Yeah.
And so they put me in touch with someone, and they made the sign, and they sent it, and it was perfect. I mean, it was massive, and but even with shipping, and it came in significantly less. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth, and there was a lot of me having to handle it. But it came in significantly less than what was being charged at the time for neon signs. And so I kind of thought, hey, if I can take advantage of this, why shouldn't other people?
Right.
And so we implemented 2 different things. The first thing was we got a lot of the like sayings that people like that aren't person specific. Forever after all, happily ever after, all you need is love, Mr. and Mrs. All of those kind of signs. And we decided we could rent them. What are you going to do with a neon sign after you have used it at your wedding? Obviously, when it is a personalized sign, that's a bit of a different story. But we rented them for a while. It went really well, honestly. Just me moving and things happening in life, it just kind of fell by the rental part of it kind of fell by the wayside. It was a lot of work for, you know, a person to have a sign for a week. And sometimes brides aren't always reasonable.
Really? We had no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of where I ended up. And, you know, we took security deposits and stuff, but we had people not sending them back. You know, they wouldn't pay, even though we had a contract that said if you don't return the sign, you've got to pay full retail value. The truth is, to chase that money down is more money than it's worth, blah, 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 blah. So we kind of just pulled the rentals because people abuse the privilege. Is, you know, kind of the be all and end all of it. I still do personalized signs. We've actually ended up doing a lot more business related signs recently. But I still do some signs, and a really nice thing, because I've been doing it since April 2021 now, so it's been over 2 years. I've had in the past month, I've had 3 brides reach out to me who bought signs from us for their wedding, and they have all bought for their nurseries.
Aww.
That's
Aww.
I know. So that's been a really cute kind of circle for them and for me.
So what's the process? Like, somebody wants to do a neon and okay, so I'm totally going to age and date myself, but neons when I was growing up used to be gas inside, you know, metal tubes and very expensive. And if you accidentally maybe dropped a plane on one and broke a section, you broke the whole thing and couldn't be repaired. Not any experience that I had, but
no. So technically, it's not neon anymore. It's LED. It's like rope lighting on an acrylic background is what it technically is now.
Okay.
So I get contacted with, you know, I want a neon sign for my wedding. And it varies from people saying, I want a neon sign for my wedding and I want it to be this big and this is what I want it to say and this is the font and this is, those people are great. They take out all of my guesswork. But then there are other people who reach out and they say, I want a neon sign for my wedding. And I'm like, sick, would love to help you. What do you want it to say? Oh, well, what about, I don't know, maybe, and it becomes a thing. And the truth of it is, if you bring me a font, I can recreate it.
Gotcha.
There are like standardized fonts that I can show you designs of, but if you want a specific font, I have to go away, speak to China, get them to do all of their design implementation, make it look like the font that you want to make it. Like right now we're doing one that is Barbie lettering.
Oh wow.
Like the Barbie font. So they send me a design. Yeah, I know, hey. They send me a design, I verify it with the customer, we talk about size, you know, there's certain fonts have to be a certain size because that's just the nature of the rope won't bend. You know, so and they take probably from once you pay for that. If you want a custom sign, we have you pay up front because once I start making that sign, I can't give it to anyone else. So, and they generally take anywhere between 2 to 4, from when you pay, 2 to 4 weeks for you to receive the sign. So I handle all of the design work. I handle all of that kind of stuff. I verify with China. Warranties, they have a 5-year warranty, I believe, on them. They're meant to last for like 55,000 hours. Obviously, there's so many choices. Like you can get color changing. Like there's so many, you know, you can do one font for like do like a block font for the, and then like a script font for your last name. You know, there's all sorts of different kinds of things you can do. And I handle all of that. And then they make it in China. They ship it. They generally ship it to me because I like to verify that it looks good.
And it's spelled correctly.
And it's spelled correctly. Only if we're under like a real time crunch will I ever ship direct to the customer, just because a couple of times, you know, signs have arrived broken, or because that's just the nature of shipping internationally.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's up to me to kind of do all of that. And then you have the sign and it's yours and you can do whatever you like with it. If you have any problems within, you know, the warranty, you reach out and I can handle it with the factory. More often than not, they just make a new one and send it.
What's your favorite sign that you guys have ever created?
Till Death Do Us Party.
I love it.
That's hilarious.
Oh my
Yeah, it was Till Death Do Us Party. I think it was in different fonts. It wasn't just one kind of font, and it was color changing, and it was a really fun sign.
That's
awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I could talk to you for literally hours and hours and hours.
And we do.
That's why on the long road trips, I'm always like, Seymour, are you available?
Always.
So one final question, and that would be, if you had to describe yourself as a flower, what flower would you be?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I so struggle with this every time. It depends on what day you ask me. I like straw flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like,
Solid choice.
well, I mean, I feel like a lot of people over there pick straw flowers, but I feel like they're pretty resilient. You know, when we put them in bouquets and stuff, they don't like wilt, they don't fall, they hold their shape. I feel like they're a pretty reliable flower. And I feel like
what you
that's
expect when you touch them.
no. Yeah, they're a little bit prickly sometimes.
The wide-eyed look. No, they're not.
So yeah, no, I think a straw flower. I like to think that I'm reliable, but I can be prickly sometimes.
And you're sturdy and you're beautiful.
Yeah.
So that all
And I'm not going anywhere.
that all works. Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking time to chat with us a little bit. And if people wanted to find you to place an order for a sign, where do they find you?
We have a website, which is www.tothemooneyandback.com.
Not inspired by your wedding or anything.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we will definitely chat with you soon. And yeah, awesome.
All right.
All right, guys, thank you. You can catch us on Instagram, on our website, wildlynative.com, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Bye! Bye! Hey guys, just dropping a line to tell you about Patreon.
So I asked them, meaning Mom and Amber, what is Patreon anyway? Because I honestly had no idea. So we're going to explain it to you from our perspective so that you understand and so that I understand.
Because the first time I saw it, I was like, Patron, we're drinking tequila? Great. So Patreon is for less than a cup of coffee, those fancy coffees that y'all like, a day, you can sign up to become one of our members.
A little family.
Exactly. And what does that get us?
It gets us some freebies, some special episodes that other people do not get access to. You can interact with us on a special platform where we can ask you questions and interact with you. It's tons of fun.
Mm-hmm. And even on those special episodes, we might be less censored than we are already. And we're going to have a couple fun ones that we can just kind of throw in there and talk about and laugh and go on tangents and have fun. So I hope that you all enjoy it because we're going to have fun along the way. We're crazy excited.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Back to the episode now. Bye.
Gracias.